Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. I have a friend with me to talk all things theatre today, and I'm very excited to have her on. So we have get this right, a Sydney-based Persian Pakistani performer, artist, writer, composer, and independent producer who hails from Karachi in Pakistan. She holds a bachelor's degree in music from the Australian Institute of Music. She premiered her autobiography show Blacklisted, which I've seen couple of times, at the Hayes Theatre, which also went on tour at both Sydney and Adelaide Fringe festivals. She's passionate about representation on stage and screen for marginalised communities and hopes that her work will leave a lasting impact well beyond the theatre. It's Almitra Malvalvala.
Hello!
Welcome!
Hello.
Ah, the beauty of editing and post, hey?
Yes.
Oh,
Lucky you.
I know, lucky you're my friend, and it's, oh my God, you'd be like, Justin, it's fine.
It's fine.
If
truly.
it was Stephen Schwartz, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm dead.
Mr. Schwartz.
Excellent. Welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We've been trying to organise this for a while now,
Yes,
and it's
we have.
great to pin you down.
Yes.
You're a busy person.
Well, I try. Actually, you're a busy person.
I
What are you
am.
telling me?
Gosh.
You're the busy one.
I am quite busy. That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for coming on and having a chat. You've obviously done a lot of things in theatre.
Yes.
It's been a busy year for you in that respect.
And it's only June.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
We're in June.
Yeah, like 6 months in, and you've already done a full show at KXT. You took another show to Adelaide Fringe.
I did.
And now you're on to the next leg of your journey.
I am. I am. It's kind of scary, and it's these past few weeks I've just been reflecting so much on my 7.5 years.
Is that how long it's been? 7.5? Yeah, wow.
7.5 years in Australia.
Yeah.
And, I've just been thinking, and it's so easy to forget because all the years are so merged together, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what year was that? And
Yeah.
when did I do that? And it's so easy to forget because you're so into a production. You forget all of the things that got you there,
Yeah.
and you forget when you wrote it.
Yeah. It
Like,
would all kind of just mesh,
It
isn't
just all meshes together. And I was like, with Blacklisted, I started writing it in 2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
It's a lockdown baby. Little lockdown baby.
Little lockdown baby. And I was like, I just wrote that. And then I was like, no, Almitra, you wrote it in 2020. That
Oh
was
my goodness.
4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think back and I think about that's how long it takes for theatre shows to develop, to find its feet,
Yeah.
to find another life beyond just the one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people underestimate how long it actually takes to make a lot of shows, you know? Like, especially from where you start conceiving a show all the way up to when you do your first draft and then your first presentation and then to actually see it on stage. There's so much more that's come before it.
Oh, yeah.
And you've done that a couple of times now.
Yes, I have. And in saying that, people ask me how long it took me to write For the Love of Paper.
Yes.
And it took me 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
It did
to
not.
the first draft, right? Not in terms of concept.
Yeah.
The concept I had. Actually, this is a really funny story. I was shooting my headshots
Yeah.
with Mansoor, and we were just chatting about at the time as well. I was like, oh, visas, bane of my existence. And he's like, oh, just get married. And I'm like, yes, if I had $1 for every time someone said that to me,
Yeah.
and then we were chatting about a funny story with the theater that I was working at the time. And he's like, there's a story in that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I got really excited after that session. So I was like, cool, I'm going to write this play.
Yeah.
I'm going to write this play. And I work very differently in the sense that I work from titles.
Okay. Yeah.
So the title was the first thing that came.
Yeah, right.
So I said, For the Love of Paper. That's what I'm going to call it.
And then you kind of work from that jumping point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even with, and this is all writing for me, is that I write from the title. Songs,
Yep.
write from the title.
Okay.
It's weird.
Is that something that happens? You think most artists do, or is that just something that works for you?
Something that works for me.
Yeah.
Because every artist I speak to is like, what do you mean you work from the title?
I like that though.
And everyone's like, the title is the last thing that comes. And I'm like,
no.
no.
Yeah, see, I like that because I've thought about like writing just something for ages, and I often have like ideas
You
that come
should.
through. Oh, maybe. And then I have a title, and I go, oh, that's a great name for a play, or that's a great name for a book, and so
Yes.
that's like a jumping off point.
Yes.
So I get that.
Yeah. And so, like, I have at least 12 titles sitting on my writing board right now.
Okay.
And so, and I know the concept behind them as well.
Yeah.
So, but they're just sitting,
Okay.
but they're titled,
Yeah.
except maybe one.
And so you kind of like, like that's what I'm going to do from there, and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, write it or don't write it, but at least the idea is there
Yeah.
and it's planted
Yeah.
and it can sit.
Mm.
Like I was literally telling someone today about a play that I've written, and I wrote it in 2018.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a courtroom drama.
Love that.
And I wrote it and I've shelved it
Oh, interesting.
for ages.
Okay.
But I do want to get back to it. And I was telling her this today, is that I have taken so long to write that because I haven't set it somewhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And because obviously the law changes
Yes,
in a
that's
place
true.
that you set it in.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this is a story for when I actually have brain capacity
Yeah.
to write something. There are so many things that are on my writing plate right now, and I'm very excited to write all of them. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just trying to find the time, first of all, but then also the one that kind of grabs you the most, I'd say.
Yeah, all whilst
Yeah.
trying to like find another life for the shows that I already have.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I was speaking to the people at the Hollywood Fringe recently, and your name popped up. Lois Neville, I was talking to her, and
Bless her heart.
it was when I was doing
love
Theatre
her.
Thoughts questions, and she was like, what's one of the, shows you've seen recently? And she was like, oh, when I was in Australia, I saw this show, and it was called Blacklisted. And I went, I know that show.
Oh, bless.
And she loved it.
Yeah, she met me after my show, and she gave me the warmest hug, and she's like, "Oh, you should bring this to LA, to Hollywood Fringe." And I was like, at that point I was so like exhausted from Adelaide Fringe. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes, absolutely. I would love to come to Hollywood Fringe." But in hindsight now, Blacklisted is not a Fringe show
Okay.
anymore.
It's not?
It's not.
Yeah.
I think it is an independent standalone piece.
Mm.
And there's a lot that I had to cut
Yeah, okay.
for Adelaide
Yeah.
in terms of time, in terms of space,
Yeah.
right? In terms of musicians.
Yeah, the musicians is a hard one.
Yeah. Like you saw it at the Haze. There were
Yeah.
4 musicians.
Yeah.
Came to Pact. There were 2.
Yeah.
Adelaide had 1.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's kind of just getting smaller and smaller.
And I was like, no,
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to take it back home.
Yes. So, yes, you are going back home. So you've had 7.5 years here.
Yes.
And then now the Blacklist obviously tells about the story of how you found, a country to go to,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
I guess for those who obviously aren't familiar, do you want to give us it in like a nutshell?
About Blacklisted?
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
it kind of gives a little bit of context for a
Yeah,
conversation, I
absolutely.
suppose.
So Blacklisted, let me just start at the COVID baby part of it. Is when, I was joking around about all my visa rejections, Canada specifically. It's rejected me 6 times. And I was like, ha ha ha, longest running joke. And then someone was like, I think you should write about it. And I was like, should I though?
Should I?
Should I? And then my US rejection happened, and I wanted to go to my best friend's wedding, and I couldn't go there either. And so I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. And so I did. And I attended Alexis Fishman's masterclass in cabaret.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I want to see you write this show.
Oh, okay.
And so she just kind of pushed me, and I was like, okay. And when I look back at the first version and that first draft
Yeah.
of Blacklisted, it
Yeah.
was 3 titles, as in 3
Okay.
song titles,
Yep.
and half a page.
Oh, no way. Wow.
I was like, what is this draft?
yeah.
I was like, where was I going? And Blacklisted was the first song I wrote
Okay.
for that show.
Yeah, wow.
And so basically, in a nutshell, it is based on the assumption that I keep getting denied visas because I hold a Pakistani passport.
Right.
But at the heart of it, it is about the displacement of home
Mm.
and how I'm traveling the world to find a place that I call my home.
Yeah.
But there is a gravitational pull
Mm.
to Pakistan,
Yeah.
which is my home.
Yeah.
And I say this in the show, it will always be my home. And I'm kind of excited to return.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I am. Like, it's taken a lot to come to that,
Yeah.
but I am quite excited in the fact that Blacklisted, doing it there,
Mm.
is going to be a whole different life to the show.
It's going to change pretty much everything about it. Because I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's where you're setting it first of all.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna have actually lived the experience.
Yep.
Got the visa, lived the experience in
Yep.
Australia, and then brought it back home.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird full circle
Full circle
thing for it, you know?
Yeah, and that's the exciting part. But also the fact that I can stop living that show, reliving the trauma of that show,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't have an expiry date anymore,
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
right? And it's not a ticking time bomb
Yeah.
that keeps going, oh, I have to do the show and leave.
Yeah.
And, now it's like, I'm home.
Mm.
Like, I came home, and this is where I will create, and this is where I will, do all of the things. And, maybe it's not a permanent stop.
Yeah.
Like, the world is now my oyster.
That's it.
The world is truly now my oyster. And you know what? I'm just, I'm going to pray
Yeah.
with the visas.
Mm.
It's
It's a tough thing.
It's like, it is what it is. I can't change it.
Mm.
There's no reason for me to keep fighting it anymore. And there's no reason for me to go, oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
It
Yeah.
is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I'm not actually blacklisted.
I know. Can imagine
Probably.
if you were, it'd be a whole different story. You know.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Before we go, I guess too far into yourself in the theatre shows as well,
Yes.
let's do our theatre thoughts questions.
Yes, let's
okay.
do
Let's
that.
delve into your theatre brain. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So the first question I'd love to ask is, what has been your favourite production you've seen recently?
How recent does it have to be?
Oh, it can be. I was going to say tomorrow. It can be yesterday or 2 years ago or however much you want.
Okay, look, I'm going to be extremely honest and say my favorite production in Australia has been Come From Away.
Oh, wow.
So way back.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's such a beautiful show. It's a story that I see and I was like, yes, this is a story.
Mm.
The book is strong.
Yeah.
The music is great.
Yeah.
I love folk music.
Music's beautiful.
And I'm gonna have to say that has been one of my favorite productions.
Yeah. I love that. It's a good show.
I haven't seen Never Closer though. I'm seeing it on Friday. So
You're going to
I
come
don't
back
know.
and be like, sorry, I'm going to change
Sorry,
my
can
answer.
I change? Yeah. So I've heard nothing but rave reviews about that show.
It
Yeah.
moved me in
Yeah.
such a way. I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
and obviously for those who've seen it, know everything about it. So
Yeah.
there's a certain air and quality about it that you just kind of, the characters and what happens. And so you just feel it in a
Yeah.
different way.
Okay.
So it's got good repetitive value, What's the
Okay.
word I'm looking for? A good,
Nostalgia?
no, a good return value on it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So you have to tell me all about it.
Okay, I will.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Okay, the next question was, name a show that left you speechless.
So, and this is saying a lot,
Okay.
right? I was recently in the final company run
Mm-hmm.
for Counting and Cracking.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because I won't be here to see
Okay.
it. And I didn't see it when it was here the last time.
Right.
And I sat there and I was gobsmacked.
Yeah.
It is a 3-hour long show
Okay.
with 2 intervals,
Yeah.
but it needs to be 3 hours long.
Okay. Yeah.
I sobbing at the end. Just
Wow.
yeah, but speechless, truly.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Well,
Yeah.
on your list.
It is on my list. It is.
Yes.
Is that the one that's going overseas to Broadway?
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
It's going to New York.
Yeah,
and
which is
it's
massive.
Yes, correct. As
Massive.
it should.
Yeah.
As it should. Really beautiful writing, just the performers in it, just so much heart, so much authentic like storytelling. You are hooked for 3 hours.
Okay.
And your attention does not waver.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's very easy to lose me in a show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like my attention just kind of goes, ooh. And the hard thing with theater for me is also like and it's really annoying because I can't just sit there and enjoy a piece of theater. My mind keeps wandering to like, or I'll get inspired whilst watching the show.
Yeah. I get
And then I'm like,
yeah, and so then your brain goes
Off with
like,
the fairy.
oh, what can I do here? What can I do that?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Yeah. I'm like, it's really, really, truly annoying. Anyway, Counting and Cracking. Everyone
Counting
go
and
see
Cracking.
it, please. Yes.
I'd love to know then, what is the most rewarding theatre experience that you've had?
From myself.
Yeah, go
As
for
in-
yourself. Yeah.
Can I say my own shows?
Of course you can.
Yeah, great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think both my shows have just been. Can I say both?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mate,
Great.
it's your podcast.
Great.
Do what you want.
Really not, but okay. Yeah, both my shows
Yeah.
have just been the most rewarding experience for me in Australia as a writer, as a performer, as a musician.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I never thought that I would go down this path of writing.
Really?
Ever.
That's cool.
Ever degree in music theater.
Yeah.
You know,
But, like, you know.
did I do what I came here to do? No, I did not. Right? I haven't been in very many musicals in Australia, but like this whole avenue of writing
Yeah.
has been the most rewarding. And I was telling someone this after For the Love of Paper and the audiences that it brought in. I was like, no money in the world will replicate this feeling.
Yeah.
No amount of money.
That's
And it's
insane.
like,
How beautiful.
yeah, and it's like I don't care that I haven't made rent for 3 weeks. Like,
well, there's a whole musical on that too, you know.
I will not be writing it. But like you can't put a price on that feeling.
It is a gorgeous feeling. I think I was talking. Who was I talking to recently? Oh, that's right. Went on a couple of speed dates, and
Funsies.
fancy. And I think they were talking about. They were trying to be unique. This person I was talking to, and they asked something like, "What's like the moment where you feel like most alive?" And I was like, "Oh my god, what a deep question!" And I was like, throwing me off my feet. And then I was thinking, I was like. It's got to be when you're on stage. When you're on stage and when you're performing opposite other people, or when you like get that right spot in an audience and they applaud and they laugh and you're like, I just feel alive right now. And it's hard to
different
replicate
every
it.
night.
Yeah. I think that's why I like it more than film and TV.
Yeah.
Because you don't, like, you come up and you do the same thing. You go, oh my gosh, I wasn't there. Oh my gosh, I wasn't there. And you do the same thing like 50 times.
Yeah.
Like 50 different ways. But it's boring. Like
Yeah.
live theatre you can't replicate it.
You can't even just being part of a band and being like the front singer in a band is different every night.
Yeah.
And there is just no place I'd rather be than the stage.
I love that.
And it's not okay, this will sound it's not for the fame.
Yep.
It's just it's not. It's like